and welcome everybody to One Heart, One Mind Center for Spiritual Living. And I do have what I think are some beautiful songs, some beautiful music to kick us off this morning. So let me hang on a second. It's always a, oops, I'm going to stop that. It's always a work in progress when I have to share stuff. So I'll get that going. Thank you for your patience. Let's see. I think I'm going to start with this one, and this one is not a video, so I'm just going to share the sound. But I like the sentiment this morning. So we're going to go to advanced. Okay. Here we are. Good morning. Can everybody hear that?
Nothing is ever lost, and we are not forgotten. We are living in the heart of God. Nothing is ever lost, and we are not forgotten. We are living in the heart of God. We are living, we are living, we are living in the heart of God. We are living, we are living, we are living in the heart of God. Morning sun coming through the trees, and the green leaves shimmer in the summer breeze. The songbirds singing to the honeybees, living in the heart of God. We are living, we are living, we are living in the heart of God. We are living, we are living, we are living in the heart of God. After the dazzle of day is done, the moon makes love to the setting sun. Stars come twinkling one by one, living in the heart of God. We are living, we are living, we are living in the heart of God. We are living, we are living, we are living in the heart of God. Nothing is ever lost, and we are not forgotten. We are living in the heart of God. Nothing is ever lost, and we are not forgotten. We are living in the heart of God. We are living, we are living, we are living in the heart of God. We are living, we are living, we are living in the heart of God. We sleep in dreams both deep and bright, sailing through the velvet night, refreshing the soul to the spirit's delight, living in the heart of God. We are living, we are living, we are living in the heart of God. Living in the heart of God. We are living, we are living, we are living, we are living in the heart of God. We are living, we are living.
are living in the heart of God. I love that sentiment. And I just thought it would be a wonderful place for us to start this morning. Good morning, Abigail. It's nice to see you. And Atif. People pop on. Judy. People pop on when I'm not looking. I would like to invite our practitioner of the day, Ralane Clarke, to kick us off here with a prayer and some words. Morning.
Good morning. All right, so let's just, with that beautiful song and that beautiful feeling we got from that song, let's just close our eyes and feel the presence of spirit. What a beautiful morning this is. And there's so much happening in the presence of God. The flow and this love and joy and compassion and happiness and ease and comfort and just the stillness of the moment, slowing down and just being. And I just know that we're one with this beingness, this one with flowing God's spirit in, of, and through and all around us. And in and of in our one heart, one mind community that spreads everywhere, including those that aren't here today. They are with us. And so I'm so grateful for this service today, the music, or Michelle's message, for all of you that are here creating that beautiful energy of God, God's presence. And so I just know that everything is just flowing in balance and order and perfection and ease and highest of levels of energetic vibration, and most of all, love. And I release this prayer with gratitude, now that we are shifting in our consciousness to receive. And I release and know it is so, and so it is. So I'd like to start with a Michael Beckwith quote that I liked. Life, Michael Beckwith says, life in the material world presents itself as a struggle between opposing forces. Our job is to see through the duality to the one presence back of everything. Once we learn that it's all about balance, and it's not a balancing act, but a balanced state. And that made me think of the old Ed Sullivan shows. And remember the guys that used to, performers that used to spin the plates and the lamps and the glasses and everything in the air, all the time, and how entertaining that was. Well, for me, sometimes life feels that way. It feels like a bit of a balancing act, and it's not always, easy when you're not a performer on Ed Sullivan's show. And, those plates and all those things that are spinning are the things that I'm doing. I sometimes overcommit, as Michelle was talking about busyness earlier. And maybe it's just taking another look at how I see it, how I see the busyness. But the spinning plates can also be events in the world, sad events, even events in our own life. Just there's things that fill us up, that we feel like we're always having to balance so much. And what Michael Beckwith is saying is it has nothing to do with a balancing act, that it has to do with feeling a balanced state of beingness. And I really like that. And Michael Beckwith goes on to say that it's really okay when you feel at times like that to do nothing, no thing, he says. And I really like that, because I think that would help, put down the plates and just do nothing. And then he says, wait till spirit moves you to do something. And it made me think of, since this is Social Justice Month as well, of the Civil Rights hymn, do what spirit say do. And, I heard that at the end of a Martin Luther King movie just recently, do what spirit say do. And it really is that idea of waiting and letting spirit move through you. And can you imagine then, if everything we do, we can be moved through spirit? I would believe that is that balanced state of being that Michael Beckwith is talking about. And so now I think I'm going to read our affirmation. February is I think the last week of February. Yes, it's a leap year, so we have an extra day. All right, so the love of all good is within me and through me. Love goes out to meet all who come into my atmosphere. It radiates to all and is flowing through all. The love within me is perfect. Ernest Holmes.
Beautiful. Thank you, Ralane. I love that. Oh, hi, Betty joined us too. Hi, Betty.
Hi, Reverend Michelle.
It's good to see you. I'm going to play another song that I think you will enjoy. I'm gonna get it up here and still bouncing around. All right. I'm just going to play the sound because this one is not a video either. So here we go.
When a sunset takes your breath away, or a gentle whisper tells you everything's okay, when you look into a baby's eyes, or simply feel that knowing from somewhere deep inside, that's what I call God. God, like sunshine and the rain, and all before that came, that's what I call God. God, known by many names, but felt to all the same. That's what I call God. When I see the mountains bursting with new life, and catch a glimpse of heaven in someone else's eyes, and find my life is bigger than my dreams, and how the love surrounds me with everything I need, that's what I call God. God, like sunshine and the rain, and all before that came, that's what I call God. God, known by many names, but felt to all the same, that's what I call God. Oh, there's something truer than my wisdom, more loving than my heart, older than my spirit, oh, burns in me, something braver than my courage, stronger than my strength, brighter than my glory, breathes in me. That's what I call God. God, like sunshine and the rain, and all before that came, that's what I call God. God.
That's what I call God. In and through, around and as. Oh, good morning again.
Good
Hey,
morning.
I gotta say, oh, good morning, Betty. Um, your words were perfect for what we're going to talk about today, which is balance. That's exactly what we're talking about this morning. So, I like to say that whether you're joining us in real time or replay, that you are welcome here. I know there's always something that you can take away with you, hopefully. Um, so this month we've been talking about being curious, about curiosity, having a curiosity about life itself, about noticing and honoring and being inquisitive about um, the divine presence that's in and through all of the natural world and in and through all of our human experiences, whether or not they're comfortable or uncomfortable experiences, delightful or challenging, it doesn't matter. God is underneath all of that. And that we can use our human experience to help us navigate or to course correct our lives as necessary, so that we can direct the energy of the invisible source of creation into every aspect of our visible world. I spoke about how everything is energy, and that energy is behind everything that's at our physical level of experience. And I talked about how energy flows, that all of life flows, and how we're empowered to flow with it, and that we can direct the flow of divine energy by what we think and by what we feel and by where we place our attention, just like that old metaphysical saying. I always turn this around for some reason. Energy flows where attention goes. And I've spoke about the creative moment when the divine flows into form and into experience, that sacred moment of creation. And that's happening within all of us all the time. And I talked about how we can consciously participate in that sacred moment. And today I'd like to talk about creating a life of balance. What does that really look like? A life of balance, and to use that idea of balance and harmony to live a life of joy. And what we're really doing is balancing our divinity with our humanity, balancing spirit, mind, and body, and how it's possible to find that right balance in the middle of whatever human stuff we're going through. We can align with our natural inherent balance by the nature of who we are and use it as a tool to support a life of joy, of contentment. Not that we aren't going to have struggles, that's inherent too, but through it all to stay balanced. Have you ever seen a gyroscope? A gyroscope in motion? A gyroscope is that instrument that measures orientation and angular velocity. I had to look that up. I had no idea how to describe a gyroscope, but I did have an idea of what I wanted to say. I have a picture. Let me get the picture. Let's see if I can get, because I'm sure everybody knows what it is, but it's always fun to have a little picture or something. Oh, back to basics here. Here it is. Looks like this, the gyroscope. You can see the strong axis in the middle, and you can see the revolving circles. At its core is the axis, and then that axis is so strong, it's so powerful that it keeps the big circles moving around it well balanced. And even though it's in constant motion, the gyroscope itself is stable and it adjusts to whatever comes its way. Oh, by the way, these are used a lot for in compasses, in autopilots that guide ships and aircrafts and stuff like that, just in case you were wondering. but a gyroscope's constantly in motion, but yet it's stable and it adjusts to everything. If you try to knock it off balance, it just kind of gracefully and steadily rights itself, which is kind of cool. So I'm thinking this is a wonderful metaphor for all of the human circumstances that we have to navigate through. We can learn to be just like the gyroscope, more agile and more responsive. And just like that powerful axis in the middle of the gyroscope, rather than just react, we can rebalance ourselves, bring ourselves back to that powerful axis, the God at the center of our being. The balance of a gyroscope comes from its strong core, its central, stable energy. And that's what our connection to source gives us, that strong and stable core. It inspires us to be curious. It strengthens us when we have adversity. And it establishes us in kind of a sense of who we are and what we're empowered to do, in spite of any changing situations around us. So how do we then strengthen that access, the access of our personal gyroscope? How do we find that place of balance and harmony so that we can always return to it? How do we develop a deep trust in the nature of life itself? It's really not as difficult as it sounds. It just takes our attention. Our inner gyroscope is always there. And the more we practice connecting with it and becoming familiar with it and building a relationship with it, the more naturally we move into it and allow that balance to fill our space, the space all around us. I was trying to think of examples. And the other day I watched a little girl outside a grocery store find her inner gyroscope. She had one of those helium balloons, big red one. And all of a sudden, a big gust of wind came and it grabbed the balloon right out of her hand and it started to go upward. And I'm waiting. I'm sure this kid's going to scream and cry and throw a fit. But she didn't. She just stood there and she watched the balloon go up. And she says, "Look, Mom, it's going up." And I was kind of blown away because I've been around a lot of kids and usually they're not happy when their balloon goes up. But that's how I want to react when I get unexpected news, when there's a problem with, a family member or a friend. I just want to be able to go, wow, I didn't see that coming. Instead of commiserating about how bad it is, just pause and say, hey, how can I help you? I do have to give myself a little credit here because I have learned through much dedicated practice, you guys have all watched me walk through this, to handle my son's alcoholism from my inner gyroscope. I'm not perfect at it, but I'm way better than I used to be. Now, when I start to go into worry or fret or to feel completely helpless, I pull myself into the vibration of love, I find that inner gyroscope, I find that balance, that place within me of all is wellness. And I tell myself, this is his path. He has all the tools he needs, and he must do this for himself. And then I pray. I pray for him. I see him as this divine being that he truly is. I don't think that we have to create balance ourselves. I think we just have to connect with the natural divine balance that's already within us. We don't have to reinvent the wheel here. We already have everything we need. We already have everything we need. I think that's a powerful thing to recognize and to realize. So play with me here. Imagine for a minute that you're moving through the activity of your daily life, and suddenly you have this moment when your mind is like super clear. You feel peaceful and serene, and your emotional level is off the charts with this kind of blissful energy, and you're feeling strong and relaxed and alive. Can you imagine that? And as unusual or maybe extraordinary as this may sound, this is actually our natural state. This is the state that we're meant to live in. When we're little infants, this was the pattern of our being when we came into this world. We experienced it in our hearts and in our bodies. We were always in that optimum state. Sure, we cried when we were wet or hungry or didn't feel good, but we didn't make up stories about why we didn't deserve to be dry or well-fed or to feel good. We didn't have to do anything or become anything to enjoy that natural state of being. It just was. And as we grew up and we had experiences, as we were enculturated by the world around us, we began to put together our understanding, our ideas about who we are and how the world works. And we began to create our own personal patterns for living. And the catch here is that these personal patterns were not always based on the divine truth of who we really are and how empowered we really are. But we can regain that natural state. I really believe that's true. We can engage with and process any old stuff that floats to the top that we've collected over our lifetimes. And just like the axis of the gyroscope, when we're grounded in the truth of our divine beingness, we can handle the movement of the outer rings. We can stay secure on our axis in the middle of whatever we're going through. We can find and maintain that natural balance, that natural state of being. Again, I really believe this is true. The power of who we are in God, the largeness of our life, can transform any old, tired belief that's still running around in our heads and our hearts. We can establish ourselves in our natural balance and open ourselves up to the flow of divine energy, and allow it to move in and through our human lives. We can actually use our human experiences to help us deepen into our God self and find that balance, find our inner gyroscope. We're living a life that is divine and human, and they are both sacred. They are both so sacred, and we can find the balance between the two. So I read this story. I have a story. I love stories. And the story is about a man named Michael. And he had this wake-up call in the form of a very unexpected experience. And I think it's a great example of how we can use any interesting experience that we encounter in our life to deepen us in the relationship we have with who we are in God, with our divine nature, with our inner gyroscope. And I believe we can use every experience as a catalyst to expand, to expand ourselves rather than to close down and contract because we're afraid or we don't know what's going on. So anyway, the story goes that on a very quiet evening, just after dusk, Michael started to back his car into a parking space on a city street. And the driver of the car parked behind him started honking at him. So Michael stopped and he looked around, looked behind him. He couldn't see what the problem was. He didn't see anything wrong. And he knew he was parking legally and that he had the right to park there. So he just thought, well, he must not be honking at me. And he continued to pull back into the space. But the man started honking again. And this time he's flashing his lights. So Michael asks himself, what's going on? And feeling kind of irritated and puzzled, he got out of his car. He walked over to the driver's window and says, excuse me, is there a problem? And the man in the car raised a 12-gauge shotgun barrel and put it right in Michael's face. And for an instant, Michael didn't know whether the man was going to shoot him or not, whether this was his last breath and his last moment on earth or not. So after a very long instant, and I would imagine it probably felt like forever, the man said, get your car out of here. And realizing that he wasn't going to kill him, Michael was kind of relieved. And he said, yes, sir. And he got back in his car and he quickly pulled away. But as he drove off, he saw another man coming out of a nearby liquor store with a shotgun in one hand and a sack in the other. Apparently, Michael had been blocking the getaway car. So the whole episode shocked Michael to his core. And as I can imagine he would, in the days and the weeks that followed, he kind of relived the experience over and over. I would, staring down the barrel of that gun, wondering if he was going to live or die that day. But the value, the lesson in the experience was that rather than feel like a victim, he began to ask himself some very powerful and expanding questions. He became more curious and interested in his own life. He started to ask himself things like, if I died right now, suddenly, do I feel complete? Have I done what I came to Earth to do? Have I postponed anything until tomorrow that I should be doing today? Is there anyone I still need to forgive or to ask forgiveness of? What unfinished business do I have? What do I still want to express with my life? He asked himself he became really curious and interested in how he could expand his own life. And I think we can use every experience to expand ourselves. When we're grounded in our inner gyroscope, sitting on that axis, there's where we have the strength to encounter anything. Every experience has the potential to make us curious about who we are and what we're empowered to do with our lives, and to engage with whatever we feel stands in the way of that full expression of that God self. How can we live a balanced life? How do we find that natural state that we were born with right now, today? Science of mind teaches that our life exists as this holy trinity of spirit, mind, and body. We call it a threefold nature of reality. And we can balance these three aspects of ourselves to bring ourselves, our whole life experience into a better balance. Some of this that I'm going to talk about will be review if you've been around Science of Mind for a long time, so bear with me. But we know that spirit is that vital essence, that thing that what's his name? His name is Eddie Watkins Jr. sang about. That's what I call God. This is the virtual essence or life force of life. It's first cause, the absolute essence of all that is. It's the great I am. Spirit is the originating principle of the universe. It's self-propelling. It's a power that knows itself. Spirit is the unity and back of all things. It's the seed. It contains the creative, vital life force. And it is an aspect of us. And mind is the creative medium through which spirit operates. It's our mind. It's our conscious and our subconscious mind. It's where we plant that seed. It's where we process information. It's how we feel. This is the aspect of us where the inspiration of spirit lands and takes root. It's our fertile soil. And we let the thoughts of God germinate here. Our attitudes and beliefs are formed here. And again, it's both conscious and our subconscious mind. And I say that because I really believe that our heart has a lot to do with this, how we feel. I would say it's both our mind and our heart. It's the creative medium through which spirit operates. It filters itself through this medium. And then there's the body, the physical universe, our physical lives. And body is the result, the objectification of spirit moving through mind. The realm of body is our human experiences, our conditions, our effects. Body's all of the material world. What is it Holmes says? He said that body is the manifest physical creation or something like that. I botched that, but you get the point. So how do we engage with these three aspects of ourselves? Well, how about spirit? Think of the most recent great idea that you've had. Now, consider where that idea came from. You were inspired. It came from the indwelling presence of God, from spirit. Recall a moment when you were uplifted, when your mind stopped and your body relaxed and your heart opened to feel the embrace of a higher energy, a higher self. That's the dimension of spirit in our lives. That is the God in us. It's pure love. It really is. It's pure love and inspiration. I can feel it. It's so creative. And how about our mind, both conscious and subconscious? This is where we think and feel with our deeply held beliefs. Here's where we form attitudes and perspectives of God, of ourselves, of others, about our place in the world. Mind is the filter through which spirit flows to create, form, and all of the experiences that we have in our lives. And our body is the demonstration of that flow. Our physical body, the conditions around us, everything in form is the end result of spirit flowing and filtering itself through our individual beliefs, and it becomes our lives. It's that moment that I love to talk about lately, about when the divine becomes form. This is form. And how do we demonstrate lives of peace and joy? By balancing all these states, of balancing our spirit, our mind, and our body together, to integrate them. How can we balance that and bring heaven to earth? So if you think, here's what I'm thinking. If we think that something is amiss in our lives, it might serve us well to think about what's out of balance. Can we identify a weak link in our spirit, mind, and body trinity? And how can we strengthen that weak link? Is it spirit? How's our devotional life? How's our spiritual practice? Are we praying daily, meditating, studying? Are we curious and aware of the divine presence in our life and everywhere? Do we know and feel and understand that we're divine beings? Do we really know who we are and embody that truth? Do we feel empowered by it? We ask ourselves these empowering questions. And how about our mind? How's our thinking? Are we filled with toxic judgments or opinions or negative thinking? Do we understand that peace and happiness, contentment, health, prosperity is our divine birthright? Do we know that? Do we feel it? Or is our thinking, kind of convinced that oppression is the nature of our lives? We're all going to be victims. We can check in with our belief system. Are we carrying a belief that we intuitively know isn't serving us? Do we have a judgment or an attitude that's dragging us down? What are the stories we're telling ourselves? These are empowering questions. Are we playing the victim, or do we know that we are a hero of our own lives? Great questions. And what about the aspect of our body? Are we taking care of business here, attending to the physical aspects of our life? Are we balancing our checkbook? Are we taking care of our body? Are we getting enough rest? Are we drinking enough water? Is your body a fit instrument to be the vehicle through which God lives its life, through you, as you? I think a good way to come into balance is to be curious about what's our weak link here. I can identify mine. And what action can I take today to strengthen it? We're just these amazing expressions of God. I occasionally catch myself thinking, or feeling or playing small. Ever do that? I don't think I can do that. No, I have to stop and tell myself who I am. I am one with the actual power of the universe that created everything that keeps the planets in their orbits. I'm an indispensable part of the whole of creation. I have a big, important life. We all do. And we're empowered to manifest the glory of the one life of our Creator into its magnificent. We are called to literally bring heaven to earth. So I just want us to know who we are and what's possible for us as multidimensional beings. I'm looking for my quote. I'm going to let Ernest Hobbes have the last word here. He had this wonderful quote that I ran across that I'd like to share with you. He said, "You are a beautiful and multidimensional expression of the one life of God. You are spirit, mind, and body. You have been placed in the garden to tend it. There are no ordinary moments. There are no ordinary moments. Each moment is precious. Each moment in life counts for something. You are an expression of the divine, living in harmony, in perfect balance." Wow. Let's just take a moment and let that sink in. All there is God. We are one with it. I speak my word, my powerful word, into creative law. that all is well, that we are an expression of the divine goodness and givingness and magnificence of the only life there is. Thank you. Thank you, God. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, all that is. Thank you, energy of life, for this incredible gift. And I just relax and know it is all so. And together we say, and so it is. We are big. Oh, so I had a lot of fun writing that, and I hope you enjoyed it. And so I think, Rob, I think it's you. Is it you?
It is me,
Okay.
and
And here
once
you
again, I forgot that I'm doing the collection. So I'm passing the basket. Uh, anyway, but this is a good time to remember that there are physical universe parts of our online community, and that it really helps. Every dime, every dollar that you toss into the collection plate is very much appreciated, and helps us persist. So thank you in advance for whatever you might be so inclined to offer up. As we always say, you can send in a check to direct to our PO box, and Michelle dutifully picks all that up, or you can donate via Venmo, whatever you prefer. Address
Well, and
is on
just
the screen.
one little thing I wanted to just chip in right here. I put my picture on the Venmo app, so so nobody will get confused anymore. So just look for my face.
Okay. We're gonna look for your face, Michelle. And coming up is our sacred giving affirmation, which is everything flows from the nature of God's good. We receive from this flow, we give from this flow. We give in gratitude and in love. We have faith in the infinite giving nature of spirit, and so it is. That's it for me.
Oh, thank you so much, Rob. I love that. Yeah, and just pretty much the same usual announcements, but I'm going to reiterate them anyway. We have our prayer group tomorrow night at 6 o'clock. It's a quick 20-minute peaceful time to come together in prayer. Tuesday night, we're going to try something fun. We're going to do we're going to watch a video called The Abundance Code, which is about 25 minutes. And then we're going to discuss how we feel about this, anything that has come up for us, how we experience it. It's a 3-part series that's on Gaia streaming app, but I'm going to share it with you. And it should be fun. I've watched it a couple of times, and it's really interesting. The first week is really about how we got here, what this system is, and how we aren't locked into it. So anyway, interesting stuff. So I invite you for that. I do want to remind you that on the 17th of March, we're going to have a shared Sunday service at Om Center for Spiritual Living in La Mesa. If you're in the area, I certainly hope that you come down and make a physical appearance. And of course, then Reverend Suzette is the technology goddess. So she's got the Zoom going and the live stream and the whole. So if you're not in the geographical area or can't leave the house for some reason, you can still join us. So that's good. Let's see, anything else? Just don't forget about unexpected income. If you got something that you weren't expecting to get, give on it. And then it primes the pump, keeps it going. So I guess that's about all I have there. I'm going to come back to Rob and ask him to do the benediction.
All righty then. Okay, so I invite you to close your eyes if you feel like it. And as we go within and just recognize the goodness that we have before us. This one of our favorite activities of the whole week is coming together and seeing each other and hearing the good news and feeling the goodness of God and feeling it more so and stronger than we tend to during the week, because this is the time we put our attention on it. And anything you put your attention on, as Michelle mentioned, it grows, it increases. And so we want the good in our life and the good feelings that we have to increase. We say, thank you, God, for the message. Thank you, God, for the message of Ernest Holmes. Thank you, God, for the writings and the philosophy of Ernest Holmes that enhances our lives on a moment by moment basis, because life is really good, and we are so grateful that that is so. I do say thank you, God, for all the goodness we have here. Thank you, God, for each other and for the good that is coming our way. We just can't even stop it. Thank you, God. I release my word, and together we say, and so it is.
Oh, thank you, Rob. That was big and bold and powerful. All right, I'm going to close with a song that I think helps us ground in that inner gyroscope, in that axis of power and strength. It's a Karen Drucker song called Here I Stand.
I was a little girl who never spoke her mind. I wouldn't rock the boat, I couldn't cross the line. But every step that I've taken, every pain, every tear, has led me to the woman who's standing right here. I got so tired of giving myself away, always looking for someone to tell me I was okay. But I got to the place where I could trust my heart. It was the perfect place for a brand new start. Here I stand in my power. Here I stand in my power. Here I stand in my power. Here I stand. Here I stand. And here I stand in my power. Here I stand in my power. Here I stand in my power. Here I stand. I stand. Here I stand. I am a warrior. I am invincible. I am strong as steel, and I am capable, and I am soft as a feather, light and free. And the truth that I know, healing begins with me. So here I stand in my power. Here I stand in my power. Here I stand in my power. Here I stand. Here I stand. Here I stand. Here I stand. Oh, here I stand. Here I stand. Here I stand. Here I stand. And with all that I've been through, there ain't nothing I can't do. Here I stand. I stand.
Ah. Isn't that a beautiful song? I'm gonna, oops, hang on. I'm trying.
When we first arrive at St.
There we go. Sometimes I forget to turn off the YouTube and it just keeps playing. All right, I go out there and stand in your power today. That's all I can say. I'm gonna stop the recording here.